So I feel like the Mak'gora tournament is like the culmination of. It's really oddly placed. It's I think this Mak'gora tournament is like what is it? A few days before BlizzCon.
Yeah,
Like they
yeah,
put
it's
it here
November
for-
3rd and 4th.
This is like the end of. They're gonna announce all the new shit, and this is like the end of hardcore WoW, basically.
You think?
This is like
The timing. I mean, the timing. Yeah,
the timing's impeccable. Like it's like
pretty good.
It's
Do
like
they know something we don't know?
It's the end. It's the end.
Oh,
of the,
true. Yeah.
It's the end of the expansion. This is literally, you know what I'm
That's it.
saying? Like, because we always talk about like hardcore. Unless it's definitely for the best thing to watch.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Now,
Right?
out of curiosity, though, just to kind of like touch on that, do you think potentially that they might do like a hardcore TBC
Oh God, no.
and like
Absolutely
kind of
not.
keep going with it, or no?
I'd love.
I
to
mean,
see
the
it. I'd love to see
the
it.
hardcore scene is huge right now. Like it's
Nah,
brought
dude, no.
so many people. Would it be a terrible idea? I don't think so.
I think if they're gonna do something like that,
there's
they
a
would
lot
skip
of chads
TBC
out
and
there
do
that
ref.
want to do the content in hardcore. It'd be crazy.
I
They wanna,
personally,
like, imagine those. I mean, this is 1% or whatever, but
sure.
those people who have already completed Nax, got all the gear, and they have nothing left to do, they might be waiting for TBC hardcore.
I don't know. I feel like if
that might be a small portion, right? But again,
I feel like if they're gonna move on past Classic, in my opinion, they probably just. Oh, I mean, they probably won it because of Blizzard, but I could see them maybe doing a Wrath hardcore.
Why would they skip TBC though? Why skip TBC? Why wouldn't you do the whole thing? You do TBC and then you go in the Wrath, right?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I've never really thought about it. I mean, you're probably right. It would make
skip
sense.
An expansion, I don't know. That's a hard no for me. There's no way to do that. The whole other expansion. I mean, that's a business move right there. From my standpoint.
Man, it's really curious. I mean, like it would be. There's more attention on hardcore out of any World of Warcraft like scene right now because it's more exciting to watch. It's because people lose everything they've worked for. It's more fun to watch.
More content. So.
Like who? I mean, like the rank 1 gladiator tournaments, but who really is like watching those? You know, like they get a lot of viewership, but it's like at the end of the day, it's a tournament. It's like a sport, whatever. Yeah, it's cool. This guy's a great mage. He's the best. Cool. He's still got his character. But this
follow.
Yeah, but in this version they die and they can't get their character back. So it's like even better. But it's like it's kind of timely placed right before BlizzCon where they might announce like all the new,
BBC hardcore, baby. Let's go.
Or Classic Plus, all that stuff everybody's talking about.
Perfect time for everybody that lost all their characters. Plus. Their level 60 characters. Classic Plus. Yeah,
you guys act like do you think they're gonna announce that at BlizzCon?
Yeah.
Deep down.
I mean, we can talk more in detail in like a later episode, but like purely dedicated to this topic.
Do you think it's gonna? I mean, I don't want to talk about Classic WoW and like what our thoughts are, but I'm just kind of curious. Do you guys think it'll actually be announced at this BlizzCon? Okay.
Yes, okay. I personally think it is because there's too many streamers with a likelihood of the inside knowledge track at Blizzard, whether they be consultants on their projects, their NDA signed, like this
who shall not be named. Yeah,
no, it was very clearly stated. It was Asmongold. He clearly stated that him and SFan and a few other people were under NDA with Blizzard over a year before Classic was announced, and they were advising on the project. Like giving their 2 cents on like how things should be run, developed, and he said that Asmongold forgot to sign his NDA, and he never actually talked about it. So it didn't, and Blizzard didn't really care because he never talked about it, because he was cool like that. But apparently SFan was like wanting Classic them to improve Paladins because he loves Ret Paladin, and they were like, the community wants vanilla. They want vanilla, no changes.
Well, one person, against the
world.
Yeah.
But I think the way that it was spoken about by a few streamers, and I've been listening, is they're talking about it not as an if, but as a win. As a win, not an if. They're not saying if. Like this, they're just talking about it now like it's happening, and without announcements. Beyond all the leaks and everything. Like, and yeah, it's just like they're just like saying it like it's going to be a thing. They're not even speculating. They're just like, yeah, Classic Plus, blah 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 blah. It's like, oh, there's not an official announcement or anything. But
so Max, do you think that has something to do with the timing of the Mak'gora tournament? Is because they know like everybody's watching hardcore right now, but then everyone's gonna like start paying more attention to Classic Plus when it's announced.
So this tournament is actually sanctioned by Blizzard. They can't actually give out that amount of money without their approval and stuff. So they had a meeting with Blizzard reps, and there's a PR initiative to this. There's a PR portion about like, hey, let's do this tournament. Let's do it on these dates because it's going to lead right into BlizzCon. It's going to be a lot of hype for BlizzCon. BlizzCon will probably highlight a bunch of the Mak'gora stuff, tournament and stuff, and recognize it and make it official to bring more hype. And then they'll announce some new stuff. Like Blizzard doesn't bring back Chris Metzen for nothing.
So
we hope.
Do you think this whole time that it was Blizzard were the ones who wanted to do the Mak'gora tournament, or do you think it was the actual?
No. I think it was the community. I think it was the guys
to the table.
Because frankly, like,
you don't think they're working in the, in the shadows?
Oh no, Blizzard, they're definitely in the background. They're not going to not have a conversation with these guys. They're not going to step
but
in.
You definitely think it was the community that brought it to the table.
Well, you got to think of like SFan and those guys as like, in their own retrospect, they're executives of the game, not officially, but like they have a lot of influence, and they can easily set this up, and host it, get funding, everything. But at the end of the day, Blizzard owns the game, so like they're gonna have a say into like timing, PR, and they're gonna capitalize on it from a marketing perspective. There's just no way.
So maybe this Mak'gora tournament's been, like they already want to do this like a long time ago. Blizzard's like, no. I mean, yes, of course we can do that, but we should do it like right before BlizzCon week. That's actually interesting to think about.
Here's an even interesting thought. Right. I was just thinking about this since you were talking about it, Max. I'm actually kind of curious, maybe because you were talking about like Blizzard talked to like SFan and Asmongold a year or so out before Classic came out. They probably discussed with them again talking about hardcore, because I know that the developers were actually talking with people in the community, talking to like the hardcore add-on community and all that other stuff that were already doing hardcore. I know that it's already been confirmed that they were in talks. So I wonder if maybe you're right. Maybe when they were talking about doing hardcore, they brought up the Mak'gora thing because they wanted to do a tournament.
Yeah. I mean, it only makes sense from a company perspective to like influence it on some level. Like, I mean, even goes back to like the conspiracies about like, streamers just routinely getting like legendaries on stream live, You
mean like SFan getting all 3 from Molten Core?
Yeah, which is like winning like the lottery 3 times in a row, the Powerball.
Yep.
Which is statistically almost impossible, but it had happened, live on stream.
He's just lucky.
I mean, like, we talk about
it. Somebody's got to win the.
We did the math behind this, and it's like statistically basically impossible. And the likelihood also of it being a streamer of it happening is also, it drops the numbers down a little bit. So there may or may have not been like a little bit of help from Blizzard.
Little foul play there. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a PR marketing. It's just a marketing thing. It's like, hey, we could build hype around XYZ if this happens, and like they work together in the shadows and make it happen. For events. And it's like, it's going to be live. It's going to get tons of views. People are going to get hyped for like MC, Molten Core to see this happen. And then they're going to want to raid too, and blah, 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 and more people sign up for the game. That's the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, it's not necessarily that's what happened, but I could definitely see people arguing for that's the case.
If I was like a PR marketing person in Blizzard, I would have these conversations with people.
Oh, absolutely.
They have an NDA. You can talk about this stuff. Like they have an NDA. Look at it as like a business, because it is at the end of the day, like
they're just like, here, SFan, here's God tier raid ID. Here you go. and then they go in and get all the legendaries in one run. I could see that. I mean, I don't. Did that actually happen? Who knows? But I could see that happening for sure.
Well, and the reason that it's so unlikely that it can actually happen in a raid is because your raid ID determines the loot from the get go. So, like, if it was each boss had a chance, like it's only like a 3% chance per boss to get a binding. If it was per boss, it makes your odds go up. But because it's
the second you walk into that,
the second it's determined, you have to multiply the chances. So it's 0.03 times 0.03 times 0.03. I think I had a mathematician work this out for me. One of my buddies who has a math degree, and it's those three chances multiplied together for it to happen all at once in one raid, and it's like it's near impossible. We did the math. How many raids would have had to have happened for it to happen was like more raids. It was insane.
Again, it's still it's technically not a 0% chance.
It's not.
It could have just gotten insanely lucky, but like you were saying, with that specific raid, it happened to be a really popular streamer that happened to have that luck. Yeah,
right.
Very unlikely.
It just makes that incredibly
very suspicious at the bare minimum.
That makes the math even crazier.
Yeah. There's the streamer factor. Now, if it had happened to like, and don't be wrong, like we've been. Granted, we've been very lucky with legendary loot too in TBC, where we got like both glaives in 2 weeks. The glaives.
Well, we got 2 sets. We got 2 sets as well.
Yeah, like we got both glaives.
It took us a while before that, but then when it finally dropped,
Oh, we got.
Well, it took us a while to finally kill the final boss.
True.
But once we were clearing it, we got it in. We got an entire set in a month. In 4 clears, we got both, or we got the left and the right to drop for us.
What was it?
Our first Illidan kill we got to drop. Yeah, our first Illidan kill we got to drop. Yeah,
that's right.
First drop.
That's right.
And then the next week, the other hand dropped. And that was our 4th lockout because we had not killed Illidan yet.
Yeah.
It was cool. But no, I mean, it's good. I mean,
To go back to your original point, we started this episode on. I think realistically, because I'm kind of a pessimist when it comes to anything Blizzard, because Diablo 4, enough said, and Diablo Immortal. But I think realistically, we're going to get Cataclysm confirmed. We're going to get that's going to be part of Classic. Cata Classic is going to be confirmed, and then I think we're also going to get an announcement and discussion of Psalm 2, which makes me kind of sad because I think it's already been confirmed that Psalm 2 is a thing in development.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
My hopium says that we're definitely getting Classic Plus, and or Fresh Classic at least. But I'm just nervous.
I don't think we'll get a Fresh Classic. I mean, Classic era is just too popular. Why would they?
No, but they don't have to. But think about it. At business standpoints, that we're talking about that, they literally have to do nothing. They just copy paste. All right, we have new servers ready to go.
True. I mean,
like Fresh Classic, and everybody would be like, I'd be on the hype train for sure. I'd be down for that. I'm not gonna lie.
Sad.
As long as we can transfer.
Sorry, go ahead.
As long as we can transfer from Soul Thrace to fucking the Fresh server.
No, but think about it. Like, it would be like, I actually wouldn't mind this either. Like, obviously, don't tell the public about this, but what would be really cool is if we got Fresh Classic to start, and then it was on the same year and a half plan to get to Nax and clear Nax and stuff like that, and then after that be like Classic Plus, and just like I don't know, something like that I think would be kind of cool. It would kind of suck to have to re-level again, but dude, I'd be all for it. I'd rather have just Classic Plus, to be fair. I'd rather just have Classic Plus right off the bat, but I'm okay with Fresh Classic. Anything less than either Fresh Classic or Classic Plus, I think this BlizzCon, at least for Classic era, is a complete L. If it's just Psalm 2, I'm going to be very sad. I won't play that. I don't care. I played a little bit of Psalm 1. I just don't care at all. And I've already given up. I never did a single raid in Wrath because we weren't really playing other than doing our twinks at level 79. So I don't care about Cataclysm at all. I just, like I said, my hopium says that we're going to get either Fresh Classic or Classic Plus.
Well,
realistically, I think we're getting Psalm 2 and Kata.
Season of Mastery's cool on paper, but like people, and there is like definitely a community that wants like harder rating, more of a challenge, but like that's not what is good about Classic. It's harder rating. It's not it. It's not truly it.
We want loot pinatas and 2 or 3 buttons.
Exactly.
And easy mechanics.
Look, if I'm raiding with 40 people and one of them named Billy Bob, I don't want Billy Bob to have to do more than move left for half a second and to get out of fire. Because if Billy Bob has to move left and then half a second later move right, then 3 seconds later move straight, he's gonna fuck it up right off the bat. He's gonna mess up the first mechanic, which then will blow up Sally that's next to him, and then he's gonna mess up the next mechanic to the right, and it's just gonna be I don't like the idea of Psalm 2. Just no, thank you.
And then Bebel multi-shot. And
oh no, too soon.
Yeah,
typical.
I think they're gonna realistically, like I said, we can go into super detail on this on all of our expectations and whatnot of what it could be, but I think they'll announce Cataclysm Classic. It's the natural progression from Wrath, and Wrath has a good player base, and there are people that want Cataclysm. And it'll keep the player base happy for a while. Now, I think they're also going to announce Classic Plus, but it won't be anytime soon. I think it might be like 2025 when it comes out, like over a year from now. Like, because I mean, they're developing brand new content, and like this also leads because they were hiring for Classic developers. Like, why would they be hiring developers for content? They don't need to hire new people for content that's already been created. They just need the current staff to take care of the servers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're talking about like if they just did Fresh Classic. Yeah, but see, the thing is does it specifically say Classic era or just Classic? Because you got to remember, Cataclysm is in my opinion, shouldn't be considered Classic, but they will call it Classic.
The job description leaned towards Classic
era. Okay,
Classic era. Yeah, so like full-time development and like to develop new content, even though it's older looking pixels, still a lot of work.
Oh, absolutely.
Now I don't want to get in on this like episode, like what I expect out of Classic Plus, but the clearly community wants it. There's over 10,000 players on Turtle WoW. Like clearly people want it. Like the entire community online is screaming for it right now. Like look at all the videos, all the streamers talking about it. Like retail WoW is whatever. It's on a downslope. People only play for RP purposes at this point. And like there's not really a rating scene.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, so
it's kind of funny when you think about it that at least for me, I'm more excited to learn about what's going forward with Classic than I am retail. Like I just don't care about retail at all.
Well,
I'm right there with you.
It's the evolution of a system. It's the evolution of a game. Like it only works for so long, right? It was working for a while. They had a general direction. Things changed. I got another book of Gift of the Wild. Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, nice.
That's this podcast session. That's crazy.
I'm currently running BRD with a bunch of friends and I. So
wink, friends and I wink.
But like, yeah, and it's like a natural progression of a game, and like they're changing their business strategy. They've looked at the market. I think they're paying more attention to their community. Look at all. We didn't get the surveys, but a lot of people got the surveys about Classic Plus. Like just stating Classic.
I'm a little. I didn't get that. I did get it for TPC, but I didn't get it for.
I've seen it, and it's like they don't specifically say, "Would you like Classic Plus?" They said like extra content for Classic, like specific,
which is just Classic Plus. Let's be honest.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Classic, though, which
like all the shit that they were like. I mean, if you look at the map of like, if you don't already know, there's tons of content that was unfinished. There's areas in the map you can't even click on. All these different zones. By the way, Alan, we were in Winter Spring when I was at that place, Frost Saber Rock.
Yes,
that's a thing. That's a thing that was supposed to be something.
That's right. That was last night.
Never turned into anything. Yeah, it looked like there could have been a portal there, and there's nothing there.
So would it be crazy to think
looks like a dungeon entrance?
that instead of, like Cataclysm, that it's just going to be like a different sort of Cataclysm?
No, it'll be
Not
just
the one you think? Do you think they'll make any changes?
Yeah, the WoW
Like
token.
anything crazy? Because like imagine, like, I hate to bring it up, like, for example, Tyler can kind of brush up on that. Final Fantasy 14, like A Realm Reborn, I think it's what it's called, right?
Yeah, you're talking
Which
about.
is
So it came
like
out.
would
Yeah.
be
Yep.
would be like the my kind of idea for the quote unquote Cataclysm, right? Where they just obliterate the world, and then you come back in and back to original classic with obviously some changes, on each class, all that jazz.
Now, as far as I'm
And we
aware,
have
with Final Fantasy 14, specifically with A Realm Reborn, like everybody's character got deleted, and you lost everything on your characters.
right.
So to do that,
that's
obviously,
what I'm
people would have to
expecting,
be willing to just lose all of their progress.
Well, it'd be. I don't know. I just think it'd be kind of they changed the story up with how the Cataclysm actually worked, and we go back to just vanilla classic. That's the Cataclysm with the world's a little bit different, nothing too crazy. We have other dungeons, different. Would be interesting. I know it's not going to happen, but
I know this is kind of I know this is kind of irrelevant to us since we're not really playing Wrath, but do you think whatever they end up doing, whether it's Cataclysm or doing kind of what you were talking about moving forward, do you think that they should keep open some Wrath servers, kind of like they did with Classic Era?
Yes, because I still think Wrath has a lot to offer. So,
I mean, there's an argument.
Development, the PvP, the raids, like all that kind of stuff. Like a lot of people like the actual end game for them, and for me too. Like honestly, I never did a lot of raids, but I felt like Wrath was like the end of World of Warcraft, because if you ever played Warcraft 1, 2, and 3, that was it. Like killing Arthas, or the Lich King, was like the end of Warcraft.
Yep.
So it's kind of my take on it. Anyway, what are you gonna say, Al?
There is something to be said about like Wrath era for sure. Like for it to be a permanent thing, because there's a lot that Wrath has to offer, but with a lot of expansions, Wrath clearly Cataclysm is like the true transition to like retail WoW when it becomes like retail.
Yes, but at the end of Wrath kind of leaned toward that as well, but some can argue.
But Wrath, I don't know how stagnant it gets at the end, how much there is to do besides raid logging ICC. Because like ICC, from what I understand, is where it has the while it's not retail like a Cataclysm, but it's the one point where the gear becomes like retail. Like it's so far above everything else that like it makes everything else irrelevant.
Mm-hmm. And I can also agree. There's not really too much to do at the end. Like what else? I mean, I don't know. Like I've never really got super crazy into Wrath. I was, a big PvPer. That's all I did. I did BGs. I did. So what else do you do in Wrath at that point? Is there any other reputation farms you can get to get certain amount items or whatever it is?
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like there's not enough to do at the end, so it's exactly that. You're gonna end up just raid logging,
which I think is what most everybody's doing at this point.
I mean, yeah, but like the
and then to come back to
what
classic.
tier is it?
Yeah, exactly. To do hardcore,
is it tier 6 or 7 that they're on?
No, God no.
I think they're on tier 10, aren't they?
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, we had 3 in vanilla, then there would have been 6 in TBC, and we're on 9 or 10.
Yeah,
would it be 10 or 10? Did they? I think 10 sounds. I could be wrong. Like I said, I wasn't a crazy Wrath of the Lich King raider or anything. So
right, but like the PvP scene in Wrath is actually a good bit of fun. Like we did Twinks, that was a lot of fun. All that stuff.
Insanely fun.
Shout out to Thicky D. Love you a long time, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, brother.
Thicky. The bots were annoying.
Should get him in here.
the bots were definitely annoying, but they were still fun to kill. When they all lined up right. Like whatever.
Yeah, it lost its appeal pretty quickly.
Like what's gonna happen when you have a warrior in Wrath that's like fully bis, and he's on PvP like in battlegrounds like 40k health, 50k health, like because your health pool, your health pool just dramatically increases.
You pray to God that you have equal.
Yep, they're the new twinks.
That's it. That's it.
They're the new twinks at level 80.
God that you're not freshly playing Wrath, because if you're trying to go into Wrath right now, I think personally it's too late. Because you're gonna bump into those guys and BGs who just have insane gear and just raffle you.
If you're trying to do PvP, I agree. If you're trying to raid,
yeah, I mean maybe, because there's a lot more opportunity now in Wrath, because they have like the heroic plus that gives you not equivalent gear obviously, but you can get the prior raid gear, right, with getting the tokens and stuff. I think, is that how that works?
Do they have a token system in Wrath?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there was when we were doing like the rogues and one get oh no, it was the badges. I'm sorry, it was the badges where you could buy like not the current raid gear, but the patch before it or the raid before, you could buy that gear. So it gives you, I guess it does give you a chance to kind of, if you were just going to start Wrath right now, have an opportunity to try and gear yourself up. But so I guess I don't know, I guess it's not too late, not too late.
Well, I'd say personally I think it's too late for PvP or raiding, because
PvP,
I think it's just too late. PvP definitely too late, but for raiding I think you need to start tomorrow if you're wanting to do any form of the raids, unless you don't like. Obviously, if you don't care about gear, you just want to see it before Kata comes out. Like, okay, it's not too late then. You could find raids, but I think it's too late if you want to try to actually get like pre-Cat Abyss. Like, that's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I log into Wrath, I guess it's like it's the expansion where you start to feel confused if you've never seen it before. Like if you've never done anything, like you can just get on Classic, easy, start from scratch, no big deal, because that's kind of how the game runs. You're supposed to start from scratch,
and you have a lot of people who are at the same point as you as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's not a million buttons for you to hit.
I don't feel like there's. I just mean like in Wrath, like I don't. There's a lot of people starting from square one, opposed to going on White Main Classic era. There's like you start level 1, you go into the zone. There's a bunch of people there doing like level, dead mines or stockades. Like you'll probably be able to find a group.
Yep.
In Wrath, I don't think so. Most people, like as you were saying, they're at the end game. They're the raid logging. You're not going to get a dungeon and stuff compared to Classic era. There's just way more people who are popping on Classic era, whether they played hardcore and they were like, okay, like I died, I'm going to go back. I really enjoyed the game. I'm going to go back to Classic era and start leveling up the character. There's a big community in the game.
Talking about Classic era specifically, there's people that are literally saying that they've never played WoW before, and they're like, well, I wanted to try hardcore, which to me sounds crazy, but I think that's how much appeal there is for Classic just in general. And having I think hardcore was just such a good idea, having like official hardcore servers.
Of the game, it's literally one of the best games I've ever played, hands down.
And speaking of that, we can stop this episode here and continue on to why hardcore and why people who've never played the game before ever started this game, or like why they love it so much in the next episode. So continue on, click the playlist. For more.